Hola there, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to another video full of food, and in this one I'm showing you a bunch of simple, nourishing recipes that you can make in literally no time, but also showcase I'm not a perfect human. I don't eat perfectly all of the time, and I think with the perfectionism portrayed online when it comes to diet and food, I want to break free from that and just show you a normal human doing normal things. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Alright, my friends, I'm starting day one on a very hectic morning where I just had to run out of the house. I grabbed a banana and some chocolate and munched on those while I was on my way to do a chore. And after that, I found myself at a coffee shop. I ordered a banana blueberry smoothie and enjoyed that along with an Americano and some oat milk. That's probably my favorite coffee order, just a classic Americano and some oat milk. So delicious in my opinion. And the coffee shop had these really fun like swinging chairs, and because of them I probably didn't do as much work as I needed to get done, but I had a great time, and sometimes that's what matters. Once I got home, I decided to save my kale because I had to save it. She wasn't looking so good. I got it off the stalk, I gave it a good chop, I gave it a good wash, and then put it into a large bag and threw it into the fridge. Oftentimes we forget that the veggies we eat are vegetables, they're plants, and they need to be watered. So that's a great way to keep your kale a lot longer. Take it off the stalks, wash it, throw it in a bag, and make sure it has enough water inside of it. Obviously don't soak it, but just a good splash of water. Anyways, we are making, I guess, lunch. This feels like breakfast, but it's lunch because I had that smoothie. But let's not get caught up in the names. I'm frying up half a block of tofu. I'm throwing some hummus on some bread. I'm throwing some Dijon mustard on the bread as well. This isn't a classic banh mi sandwich. It's a banh mi inspired sandwich. And I just love mustard, so why the hell not add the thing that you love to a sandwich that you want to eat? I'm giving some kale a little massage, adding some salt to it, continuing to massage it to really break it down and make it easier for my body to digest. I pickled some carrots very fast, very easily. And you may be wondering, why is the vinegar mixture purple? It's because I previously pickled carrots and red cabbage in that vinegar mixture, and it's still perfectly fine, perfectly usable. So why not continue to use it? That way it's a win-win on both sides. We're not wasting, and we got some delicious pickled carrots with a little red cabbage essence. There's some cucumber, the kale, pickled carrots, and some tomato on the sandwich, and it was absolutely fantastic. And because I had such a hectic morning and just literally ran out of the house as soon as I woke up, basically, I didn't start my day off with AG1 as I classically do. So after lunch, I had myself a little vitamin kick, and I'd like to thank them for sponsoring today's video. So when I was a kid, eggplants were the devil. They were absolutely disgusting, and if they were in a dish, it was ruined. It was just not a pleasant vegetable in my opinion, and some of you may be able to relate to that. It was like a texture thing for me. But anyways, as an adult, I've grown past this and think eggplants are pretty freaking fantastic, so we're making dinner with them. Chopped up 2 eggplants, some carrot, minced some ginger, now mincing some garlic. We're throwing all of that into my big pink pot. I feel like this pot has become an iconic moment for me, you know? I also chopped up 1 red Thai chili and then drizzled a bunch of olive oil into the pot along with a good sprinkle of salt, a half a cup of water, and then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons worth of miso paste for that delicious umami flavor, and 1 tablespoon worth of gochujang spice, which is a Korean chili paste. As you see the drastic lighting change, we're gonna get on to the rest of dinner because I simply just prepped the eggplant dish, and I don't know, I've been loving prepping dinner recently. Like, being that at the end of the day, you're tired, you're exhausted, you don't really want to chop all the vegetables and like get everything prepped. So if you just do it when you're feeling motivated and have the energy to do it, then dinner's a lot simpler. Anyways, we're making a big slaw. 100% you can do the classic smart way of chopping corn on the cob off of the cob by putting it into a bowl and collecting everything. Or you can be like me and just enjoy the act of making a mess. Sometimes that's just my favorite way to make dinner. It's just get a little crazy, get a little messy. Don't be afraid of it, my friends. It's a good time. It like sparks your childlike behavior as well and creates more creativity in your life. But anyways, we're throwing a bunch of vegetables in this slaw. Honestly, just like everything that I had on hand. I threw red cabbage, red pepper, cucumber, and we're also going to throw some kale in here as well. And then for a little bit of flavor, we're chopping some basil. I'm just giving it a very light, rough chop. There's no need to get crazy with it. Just throw it in the bowl along with some chives as well. For the dressing, we're going to do a bit of vegan mayo and some lemon juice. That's it. That's all, with a little sprinkle of salt. Does not have to be complicated. Mixing that all together. And because I still had a bit of time to hang out while my eggplant dish was cooking, I threw some tomato in there along with the corn as well. The corn was always going to go into the dish, but I just wanted to give it a little cook first before I threw it in. And then checking on the eggplant dish, I felt like it needed a bit of soy sauce and a tablespoon worth of sugar, so I added that and then stuck it into the oven again. And then I'm making some tofu steaks, seasoning them with some soy sauce and some smoked paprika, and just frying them up until both sides are nice and delicious and browned. And yeah, I also cooked up some rice for the eggplant dish because it's an extremely rich in flavor dish, and to have a bit of rice with it just kind of mellows it out and makes it a bit more enjoyable. Plus, rice is delicious. Before we continue, I'd like to say a massive thank you to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. I'm sure you've heard of them a million times, not just from me, but from so many people that share them on social media and or your friends or family that have tried it themselves, and it's not a fluke. A wide range of people use this product on a daily basis to support their general health, or more specifically to boost their mood, balance their energy, support their immune system, their skin health, their gut health. There's a wide range of reasons that people use AG1 on a daily basis. My belief system is that the body is all one. Everything's connected, everything is working and moving all at the same time, and you can't have one thing without the other thing. So with that thought process, when you take something packed full of so many whole food sourced ingredients, you may not see a massive improvement in one specific area, because to isolate something that is part of a whole bigger system is not an easy pursuit. And depending on who you're talking to, it's kind of impossible to isolate one specific thing within inside of the body. But something to be ensured when you are taking AG1 is that you are consuming a wide range of extremely important vitamins and minerals that you may not otherwise get in your daily diet. I think many of us are looking for this magic pill. We're looking for the answer, the one thing that's gonna solve all of our problems. But when you look at health from a whole body perspective, that's kind of an unrealistic thing. But you can take something like AG1 and put it in your tool belt to support yourself, support your body in all of its daily functions. But with all of that being said, I truly love the product. I've been using them for 2 years, and I've seen a big difference in my skin health and my gut health when I'm using them on a daily basis. But you know, I use so many other tools as well, like exercise and ensuring that I'm eating a balanced diet most of the time, as much as I can. But AG1 is a tool in my tool belt that I love, and I truly hope that you get the chance to try them. You can do so by clicking my link down in the description box, and with your first purchase, you'll receive 5 free travel packs along with the 30-day supply that you are purchasing. You'll get 5 free travel packs and a vitamin D3 K2 little dropper with a 1-year supply. So I truly hope that you take advantage of this opportunity, and note that they have a 90-day money-back guarantee, which is so amazing. You get a 30-day supply, you have 60 extra days to decide whether or not it had benefited you. So click my link down in the description box. I love AG1, and I truly hope you get the chance to try them as well. So let's get on with the rest of the video, whatever way that is. Well, good morning. Welcome to another one of my lives. Welcome to another morning in my life. I started this one off with some AG1 and a coffee and then went to the gym. Once I got back, I was very hungry. Munched on the leftover coleslaw from last night and then made myself a matcha. Anytime there is a milk frother in the place that I'm staying, I take advantage of that. It is so delicious to have a fluffy, milky, drink, Today, to be completely honest, I wasn't feeling very motivated in the kitchen, and I just needed something fast and hearty, and I also did not have that many ingredients, so we made do with what we had. I'm soaking some red split lentils in some hot water, just allowing them to do their thing and get soft while I'm chopping some garlic and some celery, and then I'm gonna get all of that into a pot with some olive oil. I seasoned it with salt, and in my big pink pot I had some water boiling, made it taste like the sea before adding my noodles. And my mom used to always put olive oil in water. She probably still does, but sometimes it's extremely helpful to allow your noodles to not stick. Anyways, I seasoned my veggies with some chili, some paprika, and some Italian spice. I added a can of tomatoes, just crushed, diced tomatoes, a good splash of balsamic vinegar, and sometimes you luck out. When you make noodles, none of them stick together, and then other times you just have a big clump, and no matter how hard you try, it happens. That's life sometimes. Once everything was done, I combined the noodles and the sauce together, added some fresh basil, because basil is actually the most flavorful when you add it in at the end of the dish and don't overcook it. It's the most aromatic and just amazing. So save your basil until the end. Plated up a big bowl, and I actually just had this for dinner as well. I ate it for lunch, and then I had another big bowl for dinner. Now, this isn't the fanciest pasta in the world, but it does a good job at fueling my body and keeping my life very simple. There's nothing wrong with pasta sauce and noodles, and then throw in whatever veggies you have available for a bit of protein, some lentils, bing, bang, shaboom. I don't know why I've been saying that recently. Bing, bang, shaboom. It's so strange. I don't even really like that saying, but in my opinion, it could use a little bit more garlic and a little bit more onion, but maybe you don't like garlic and onion, so this is perfect. Authenticity is your gift to the world. Don't bury yourself trying to give people what you think they want from you. That is such a powerful, powerful thing that so many of us get stuck on because we're told how to live, essentially. We're told that we should do these specific things because they are going to bring us happiness in the long term. Instead of saying, I just want to be happy, I want to feel fulfilled, and then going about your life in the experimentation of finding what actually brings that to you. Try new things, question things, and experiment with how you live your life to see what does and what doesn't bring you happiness. And there you'll find your authenticity and be able to inspire people with your true happiness. I'm going to dive a lot deeper in on this topic in a podcast episode, so make sure you go follow my podcast, The Duality of Life podcast, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. It truly helps me dive a lot deeper into these intense topics that I love to talk about. So give me a follow over there. But back to the food, I made an extremely simple, everything that I have in the fridge thrown in one bowl salad thing, because your meals don't have to be perfectly planned out to be nourishing and filling. And I'm not going to judge myself just because I film food for a living and I'm sharing all these recipes with you doesn't mean that I'm not a real person with real things going on, and I don't always have the time to perfectly plan out everything. Speaking of which, after this salad, I had a lot of stuff going on in my life in this week. And then I moved into a new apartment. So this next clip is about 4 days later. my friends, welcome to my new home. I've had many change of plans recently, and it feels good to settle in somewhere for a longer period of time. If you don't know what's going on, then make sure you watch the last video that I posted, the vlog. I tell you everything, I open up about everything, and it's a good one. So keep up to date with me and, clean, organize, and set up my new apartment with me. Anyways, I'm getting some red onion to a pan with some olive oil along with the carrot that I chopped up, giving that all a good mix, cooking it for 4 to 6 minutes, and then throwing in the minced jalapeno and garlic. In the meantime, while that is doing its thing on lower heat, I munched on some leftover potato and roasted veggies. I also made that recipe in the vlog. It was so delicious, so I highly recommend trying that one out. After a little while on low heat, I added some fresh tomatoes, 2 tablespoons worth of nutritional yeast, some cooked pasta that I made, some smoked paprika, cilantro, and a bit of lemon juice as well, along with a good drizzle of olive oil. Chopped up some more tomatoes that had to be eaten, salted them, peppered them, and then served up the pasta. It was kind of like a cheesy, Mexi vibe, but very basic veggies, the jalapeno, the garlic, the smoked paprika, the acidity. This was really delicious. I have absolutely been loving a slow, easy morning recently. I just feel like I need the calmness in my life, and it's actually been an extremely pivotal part of my mental health game recently. I feel like I always have to be doing something productive and important, and I have to do it fast for some reason, but just doing something slowly and taking the time to enjoy it or just be with it is so important, my friends. So once I felt the energy of the matcha start kicking in, I got dressed and I made myself some breakfast. Currently mashing up a 1/4 of a block of tofu in a bowl, adding some vegan mayo, some Dijon mustard, a splash of water. I just didn't have enough vegan mayo. I would have totally added more, but instead I added a splash of water and some olive oil. Also seasoned it with a good pinch of salt and then just set that aside, dicing very small some red onion along with some cucumber. And then I'm going to start building my wrap. I'm adding some hummus and then also some leftover butternut squash that I baked. This is a funny story that's included in the vlog. In short, the oven that was part of the apartment blew up and I had to buy a new one. And finally, after days, I could cook this butternut squash. Anyways, I threw everything onto the wrap along with some pickled carrots and some cilantro. Highly recommend adding butternut squash to a wrap. Like, who knew? But now you know. It feels like you have another creamy sauce in the wrap, but instead it's another vegetable. So win-win. As you could probably tell by that, it was a very, very good watermelon. I thought when I opened it, it wasn't going to be so good because the ring around it was like so thick and the red part of the watermelon wasn't super juicy looking, but surprisingly, the taste of it was freaking phenomenal. Unfortunately, I lost some of the footage for this dinner, but I just had a bunch of fresh veggies. I put the tofu recipe and the dressing recipe on screen for you so you can screenshot them if you desire to. I topped it off with some fresh dill and some seed mix. All in all, this dinner probably took about 20 minutes to prep everything and As long as you have a flavorful dressing and all the vegetables on hand, this is a super simple and delicious meal. You do not have to reinvent the wheel every time you make a meal. And for myself, that kind of rhymed. For myself, as a food person that shares online, I also don't have to reinvent the wheel every time I cook. I feel my best nourishing my body with lots of raw vegetables, so I'm going to eat those for myself. And I encourage you to have some freshness in your life as well. As you may have been able to tell, I haven't been extremely inspired with breakfast recently. I don't know why. I just maybe it's the essence of moving slow in the morning, and I don't really feel like cooking a big meal for myself or cooking anything too intricate, but I'm a little bored. Give me some breakfast recipes down in the comments, or send me some ideas that are simple that don't require a blender also. If I had a blender, I'd be making myself smoothies, but I don't have a blender right now. So I'm feeling a little lack-inspired when it comes to breakfast. But I guess that's part of life. Sometimes we're inspired, sometimes we're not, sometimes we're motivated, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're creative wholeheartedly and purely, and sometimes we're not. We're human. This is life. Ebbs and flows are normal. To back the wrap that I had yesterday, I had to make it again today because it was extremely delicious and I felt so damn good after eating it. So don't be scared to have the same meal twice. So I currently don't have a fine mesh strainer, so I'm rinsing my rice in a nut milk bag. It works. It does. So don't judge me. So I rinsed a cup of it, threw it into the pot to cook, and now I am going to soak some red split lentils, waiting for the water to boil currently. So I chopped up a bunch of dill and got that into my bowl to make a dressing along with a red Thai chili. This dressing was extremely delicious and something that I've never made before. I've combined dill, chili, and ginger, which are ingredients I don't really think are typical, but it was super fresh and flavorful. So let's get back into it. I added about a tablespoon worth of miso paste to the dressing along with some lemon juice. Pro tip, if you don't have a lemon juicer, just shove a spoon in there, twist it around, there you go. I added a good splash of water to the mixture, seasoned it with a pinch of salt, added some olive oil as well, mixing that all together, and then I'm just going to set that aside and prep some other things. So I have Swiss chard, which I feel like isn't a vegetable typical. I don't know, my mom never cooked with it. I don't think I even had Swiss chard until I was like 20 years old, so it's not like a super common ingredient in my opinion, but it's good. Highly recommend it. I got some olive oil and some garlic into a pan, and after it was warmed up for about 30 seconds, I threw the Swiss chard and some red cabbage into the pan, seasoned it with salt, and once the brown rice was done, I plated it up, threw the Swiss chard and red cabbage on top, sprinkled my red lentils. I wasn't really thinking about the plating aspect, so I kind of played around with it, just got my hands in there and made it look pretty. I, as you can see, have some ribbed carrots and some fresh tomato on the dish as well. And in my attempt to eat dinner a lot earlier, I had an early night. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and got some value out of it. Please remember that food is extremely important, but it doesn't have to be a stressor in your life. Make things simple. I've demonstrated so many simple recipes in this video, and I truly hope it inspires you to get in your kitchen. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. If you could hit the like button and subscribe button if you haven't already, I'd truly appreciate it, and I'll see you again so very soon. Mwah!